So I'm going to look at the Vlieseline Bondaweb. The Vlieseline Bondaweb is an iron-on adhesive and it has a backing paper. It's available in several sizes. This one is a 30cm roll and the length of it is 5 meters. It's also available in a 45cm width and the roll size is 30 meters, and it's also available in small pre-packs in the UK. The Vlieseline Bondaweb is perfect for appliqué. It's also perfect for mending. And if you are a textile artist, you can also paint on it, add some glitter to it, add some foiling. The Vlieseline Bondaweb is washable up to 60 degrees and it's ideal on medium weight, heavyweight, stable fabric. So first of all, you'll get yourself an image. You may want to freehand, but I do like to copy. Now you have a smooth side of the Bondaweb, and then if you just run your finger or a pin over this side, it's a little bit bobbly, and that is the side that you want facing down to your drawn image. And we're just going to copy this. Now I am using a blue pen here just for the purposes that you will be able to see it as I'm cutting it out. You could use a fine pencil, you could use a pen, but what I would recommend is that you don't use a heat erasable pen, because the next stage would remove those drawn lines. Once you've drawn your image on, you are then going to cut roughly around that drawn image. And when I say roughly, you just need to see that drawn line that you've just done. So you can be quite mean with your Bondaweb and you can get a lot out of it as well. Now, just as advised, I'm cutting this out. If you ever get a situation whereby your Bondaweb paper separates, don't pop it in the bin. Just keep it, and if you look a little bit later on, we have another technique called crashing, and that's where you'll be able to use up all of those pieces of Bondaweb. So the next stage, we've got this drawn out and we've cut it out roughly. You're going to choose the fabric that you want to form part of your applique, and you're going to iron this onto the reverse of the fabric. So that's the non-printed side, or the not pretty side, as I usually say. Put it down, and it's really important this time that you ensure that you can see your drawn line. If you can't see a drawn line, what will end up happening is the Bondaweb will end up on the iron, and you'll be rather sad about that because you'll be cleaning your iron. So just fuse it in place, and once it's fused in place, you are then going to cut it out accurately. So that is on the drawn line. So I'm just going to pop this one out. Now you need a nice sharp pair of scissors for this. And what I tend to do when I'm doing my applique is I will get all of the designs that I want onto the Bondaweb, and I will do it very much in 3 stages. I'll draw all my images out. I'll then fuse them onto the fabrics that I've chosen, and then ultimately I will cut them out, and then I'm ready to go for my project. So we'll just cut this little rabbit out into there. And this is great. Applique is great because not only can it be a decorative piece, you could also use it if you are wanting to mend a hole on a garment or a bag. It covers a multitude of sins. So we've now got to the stage where we've cut it out. Now, the one thing I didn't mention before, if I show you my drawn image and I show you the image I've cut out, can you see it has mirror image? So if you really want your design to go in a particular way, just consider that when you're using the fusible, when you're using the Bondaweb, it becomes a mirror image of your original design. So once you've got to this stage, the next thing that's really important to consider is that you must allow the Bondaweb to cool down. Once you've done that, turn it over, and you don't need to be picking the edges to get the backing paper off. I just use a sharp pin, or as you're changing the needles on your sewing machine, then just keep them to one side because they're ideal to use for this particular job. And then you're going to remove the backing paper. It comes off extremely easily. If it doesn't come off easily, it just simply means that you haven't fused it on correctly. So just pop it back to the iron and start again. Now you're going to position it onto your backing fabric or your project that you're working with. And once again, you're going to press. And if you notice, I'm pressing with the iron and I am not moving it around. So I'm just going to press it in place. And once we've pressed it in place, we would leave it again to cool down before we start to handle it. So once it's in place, you now have several choices. You could either hand stitch all the way around here, or you could use your sewing machine. And just to give you a little example, these are some hearts that I popped onto a quilt, and all I've done is a very small blanket stitch on the sewing machine. I actually used a silk thread, a very fine thread for this, and it's just finished it off. This now means that it's washable. You can pop it in the washing machine as many times as you like. I'll just give you a quick note that if you were to do a running stitch inside, whether that be by hand or by machine, over a period of time, the Bondaweb fabric, the fabric that had the Bondaweb on, may fray slightly, but it will never fray beyond that stitching line. But that would give you a really primitive look on your project. As you can see, Vlieseline has a wide range of products, each with different properties and benefits for your projects. You can view the whole range on the Vlieseline website, where you can download the brochure, which has detailed information on all of the products across our 4 categories. You can also join the conversation with us on our Facebook page, Creative Community Group and Instagram. All of the details are below.